What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. And in today's sample library review, I'm very excited to present to you Best Service's newest library called Horns. No, it's called the Orchestra Complete 2. Sorry. The expansion pack is called Horns of Hell. So in case you're unaware, the Orchestra Complete is basically Best Service and SonicScore's attempt at creating an all-in-one orchestra with a fantastic rhythmic engine that basically helps you come up with complete orchestrations in no time, all within a very small sample package. I think it was namely like 2 to 3 gigabytes was the original library, and now with the update, it's between 5 and 6 gigabytes. So much smaller than many orchestral libraries on the market today. And while the sound might not be the absolute top class that you might come to expect from something like Orchestral Tools or Cinesamples or Spitfire, the sounds are perfectly functionable. I think they work very well in the context of a mix, and the rhythmic engine is really what stands out. So we're just going to kind of go over the update today because I did do a review on the library last time. So let's just open this up here. We have the Orchestra Complete. With the installation of the update, we have this new patch called the Orchestra Complete 2, and there are some other additions with the Horns of Hell package that create the Orchestra Complete 2. So let's go over some of these additions here, namely the organ, brass section, updated brass section. So they have evil brass. They also have updated other instruments like tenor horns, these low brass there. I think everything has just been tweaked a little bit, and then of course the evil brass with multiple articulations. As well as some percussion, tubular bells, timpani. We'll go over those a little bit. And then finally, how they all combine to make the Orchestra Complete 2. So let's hear, first of all, the organ. I personally love the sound of this organ. I think it sounds very cinematic, very ethereal, very reverberant. So it fits really well in the context of a mix. So here is the Toccata organ. Right, so it just has that gorgeous, full, rich sound, and this patch is only 47 megabytes. Let's hear the flute. So essentially for this last octave setting, basically whatever note I play on the piano, it's playing that note up an octave. It's not actually saying that the note you're playing will be combined with the note an octave above. That's actually already accomplished by a lot of these other settings over here. So for me, I love this organ. I think it just has that beautiful full and rich sound, like I already said, and I think it's very usable. I think that's one of the highlights of this update. Let's hear the evil brass. Let's go through these articulations here. So let's start with the staccato. So it goes up to this D or E flat right there. So we have to go a little lower. So due to the nature of these horns, you'll hear that once I play a combination of notes, even if it's just like an extended triad, it doesn't really sound very good due to the nature of it being in the lower registers. And just the overtone series is so rich in that area that once you start combining notes in that register, it really just starts to get muddy. So if you're really going for that kind of mean type of low tone, I would really just go for 1 or even 2 notes in octaves, maybe. Right? That's all you really need to set this growly mean foundation. You don't really need much more than that. The flutter marcato. It'd be super cool if they had like a flutter marcato sustain. Not sure if they do actually. Flutter marcato. Oh, so the trombones have it. French horns also have it. Let's check the evil brass. Let's see. Flutter marcato. So yeah, they don't have the sustain there, but no worries. I think the evil brass is kind of like a combination of a bunch of these low brass instruments. I believe on the what is it, the sales page or the product page, you can find out exactly what those instrument combinations are. Okay, let's move on to the percussion. Now, these deep hits I think are awesome. They provide like boomers. They have some like low drums. So I just have a quick listen to this. So you can really get like a heartbeat sound from there. That's just using the D and the E right here. You know? Let's hear the timpani here. So it does sound like the timpani are kind of recorded further back in the hall. It doesn't really have as much of an upfront signal like in Cineperc, for example, the timpani I go to most regularly. But again, as for like a background function, I think these timpani are perfectly serviceable. Finally, the tubular bells. Yeah, it's a little early for Christmas, but who cares? All right, finally, let's go into how this is all coming together. So if I pull in the Complete Orchestra 2, this is what we get here. And in total, it is 112 megabytes. That is insane, right? For a complete engine that just gives you these instant orchestrations, that is like, that's nothing, you know? So let's see. Let's hear the first preset that comes if I just play one single note. So now my mod wheel's at the bottom. If I turn it up, instantly just fills up completely. So let's turn it back to the middle here. Let's make a C minor chord here. Let's play around in here. Okay, Um, so that is basically one of the overall um what do I call it? One of the overall loops, like, or not, it's not a loop, right? But it's the way the engine puts the samples together from the orchestra. But they have specific, sets of these combinations from Strings of Winter, which was their first expansion, and then also Horns of Hell, which is their newest expansion. So if we just click on Horns of Hell, they give us, um, the dedicated loops, or not loops, but rhythm, patterns for those specific this specific library here. So if let's just take a look at Animated Orchestra, because this is where it all comes together. So Losing Sight, this says it's in 3/4 time. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. So the higher notes I play, you hear the higher instruments. Okay, so this blue playable range here are the super high instruments there. Down here you get the low organ and the brass as well. So if we just take a look here, let's play all of them, just the high ones. Only the organ is playing there. And then the low registers here, we get the horn, organ, and the trumpet. So very cool. And of course, you can go into the individual slots and switch out for whatever instrument you want, But yeah, the animated orchestra is where this engine and this library really comes to life. And of course, the idea of being able to export the MIDI for yourself. So if I just want to, I don't know, put it there, then you can see that there you have a bunch of the MIDI notes. And let me take a look here. So that's all the instruments being layered together, right? And these ones I'm assuming they would have the patterns, like the rhythmic patterns, whereas these would be like single hits of different instruments. So anyway, that's the benefit of having an engine like this. And I think one of the most requested features of a library like this is the ability to be able to tweak your own MIDI data as much as possible. So let's hear a few more of these combinations here. If we go back to the main page, let's hear maybe like a peaceful, let's go back to the orchestra here. So we get a combination of everything. Peaceful, magical loop here. Maybe like we wanted 6/8. So now we have these possibilities. Peaceful times, let's see. It's just beautiful. So yeah, you can see just the ability to tweak, and just the interface is so streamlined, so straightforward, right? You start from largest, you go smaller and smaller and smaller. So the orchestra obviously contains everything. Strings of Winter and Horns of Hell are the the more niche expansions. Then you can choose your category of orchestral colors. So those are like sustains and all that. The separate articulations with combinations of instruments. The rhythms are, of course, actual rhythmic patterns, while the animated orchestra kind of like combines both of them, the colors and the rhythms, I believe. Then the meter, of course, you can choose your time signature and the feel. Character, this is super useful, right? Because this library is kind of intended for film scoring. So when you have that cue, that's you're trying to get a certain sense of a feeling, it's really helpful to have these characters separated like they are. And then the presets, of course, you can choose. And honestly, one of the biggest selling points of the library, I really believe, is its size. You're not going to find another library that does the same thing that this library does, with the same sound, the same sample content for under 10 gigabytes. It's insane how much just like function this library contains, right? And like worst comes to worst, if you don't like the sound of the samples, you just drag it out and import your own samples, and that's really all you can ask for. So I think it's a total sorry about that. I think it's a totally worth like a library worth looking at if this is your like first orchestral library. If you're looking for a library that really covers your orchestral bases, maybe you're not necessarily doing orchestral writing full time and you're happy with a sketching tool uh, that will just give you atmospheric or instant rhythms without having to put in too much work, and you just want to get up and running really quickly, then I would definitely recommend this library, like without a shadow of a doubt, because it really sets out what it claims to do, and that is to get you completed orchestrations in really no time. And as a learning tool, a lot of people like taking, these individual patterns, dragging them out to the MIDI, and then taking a look at what instruments are being used where. So for a more like in-depth look at all of the different features and sounds and presets and all that, just check out the official videos on Best Services YouTube channel. They cover this in like full detail, and it's really stunning. And the trailer they made for the library is also beautiful. So I don't know what to say. It's just great. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this kind of brief look into the Orchestra Complete 2. Just again, a beautiful library that's really suitable for sketching purposes, or if you're just looking for really rich orchestrations with a click of a button. When you're just pressing a single note, you can get these pre-orchestrated ensembles, and all for a really small sample size, like small enough that you could even store it on your main computer for working, and without having to put it on an external drive. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to download the free sample libraries guide in the description box below. It kind of covers all of my preferred orchestral sample libraries, strings, woodwinds, brass, percussion, all of these separate sections, plus like piano, jazz, ethnic libraries. I've got it all in there. If you're just looking for, a new library to invest in, to be like a really good workhorse library to last you many, many years, I have my personal favorites and ones that I feel that will serve you very, very well. So feel free to download that guide. It's 100% free. So it's the first link in the description box. I hope you really enjoyed, and I think it'll help you. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll catch you in the next video, and take care. Bye-bye.